And welcome everyone, and thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Eugene Stefanov. I'm part of the marketing team at Perficient, and I'm very excited that you've joined us for today's webinar, in which we'll discuss Siebel CTMS IP2019 highlights and upgrade considerations. Before we move on to a brief overview of Perficient, I'd like to cover some basic housekeeping items. All participants on this call are in listen-only mode, which means that everyone is on mute. You can submit questions to the speaker at any time today by typing them in the chat feature, which is located on the left side of your screen. Please make sure that you state your questions clearly, and keep in mind that other webinar participants will not see who asked which questions. Your questions to the speaker will be anonymously addressed as time allows towards the end of the presentation. If you still have unanswered questions after the webinar or would like to request information about our services, feel free to reach out to our speaker, Param Singh, directly. You can also fill out the contact form found on Perficient's website. Please note that today's webinar is being recorded and it'll be sent to you within several days. A link to the slides will also be included. A little bit about Perficient. We are a consulting firm that delivers digital experience, business optimization, and industry solutions. The work we do helps cultivate and captivate customers as well as drive efficiency and productivity. We have numerous locations across the US and Europe, as well as offshore facilities in India, China, and Mexico. We were founded in 1997. We're a public company that's traded on the NASDAQ, and we have more than 3,000 employees. We formed strategic partnerships with major technology vendors such as Oracle, and also have dedicated solution and industry practices. One of these industry practices is, of course, life sciences. This graphic shows our depth of experience. You can see that we have relationships with 37 of the world's largest public life sciences companies. And right here are a sample of our clients, the companies that we are working with today. All right, now that I've covered the housekeeping items and told you a little bit about Perficient, I'd like to pass it over to today's speaker, Param Singh.
Thanks, Eugene. Good morning and good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to today's webinar, which is to provide some insight into the latest versions of Oracle's CTMS solution and some history and of the evolution of the application. It's an hour webinar today, and so this is going to serve just basically scratch the surface a little bit, high-level discussion on the latest version of the functionality. And we will also want to give a little bit of time to show a live demo of the key features of the latest version of the system as well. So let me start out by introducing myself. My name is Param Singh. I'm a director in Perficient's Life Sciences business unit, where I lead the Clinical Operations Solution and Digital Transformation for Life Sciences initiatives. I've been with Perficient for close to 12 years now. And I've been working in the life sciences industry my entire career, and I've worked with with the Oracle CTMS product since its inception back in 1999, 2000. So I've seen this, the evolution that we're going to be talking about today. I've seen that firsthand. And so hopefully we can shed some light on the direction of the product and whether it would be beneficial for your organization to implement or upgrade to these latest versions. So, because the latest versions of Siebel, starting with Innovation Pack 2017 and beyond, was such a significant departure from previous Siebel versions, our clinical operations solution team has devoted a lot of time beta testing it and internally and implementing these versions of clients, helping Oracle and our customers identify and iron out some issues. And so in today's webinar, we want to share all of that, at least some of those beneficial features today. So let's look at today's agenda. First, because some folks on the call are not familiar or may not be familiar with Oracle CTMS, we want to give an overview of the Oracle CTMS system and its place in the market and its impact on our industry. I'll then go into a brief history of CTMS and its evolution as one of the leading CTMS solutions in the world, and go into some features and functionality that have been introduced over time in the product. And next, we'll start to highlight some of the features and functionality that have been shared in Oracle's statement of direction for the overall Siebel product platform. And then we'll start looking at some major differences between the latest versions, with Innovation Pack or IP2019, and in older versions of the application prior to IP2017, which will include platform-wide features as well as some CTMS specific ones as well. Next, we'll look at some specific new features and functionality in this version and discuss the benefits. And since Oracle is committed to releasing a patch or updates with features each month, we will offer a sneak peek of some of the features and functionality that has been communicated to be released with these updates in 2019 and 2020. And next, since organizations are going to be at different versions, you may have questions about your upgrade path to this latest version, and so we'll show some specific upgrade path to the latest versions, also show how these upgrades are becoming much, much easier. And then we'll step into the system itself to show some live features in a live demo, which a colleague, one of my colleagues, Suren, will lead the live demo. And once we're done with that high-level demo, with what is planned, for these latest releases with regards to development and deployment approaches for implementations, we're going to look at a potential approach to compliance and how this new quick deployment capabilities can potentially lower the compliance risk and, in turn, the validation overhead for an implementation. And so finally, we'll look at what the next steps will be for your organization depending on where you are on your journey in either identifying your needs for an enterprise clinical trial management system like Oracle CTMS, or performing an upgrade analysis on your existing Siebel CTMS application to take advantage of the features that we're going to be discussing today. And then we'll end the call with a listing of some additional resources on the topic of implementing and upgrading your CTMS solution, and then also a Q&A session. So with that, let's get started. So why has Oracle CTMS enjoyed a leadership position in the industry for many years? There are thousands of seats of Siebel CTMS that are deployed worldwide that support many global trials. The functionality that this solution has been the standard to measure other clinical trial management systems with. One of the reasons that it's been so successful establishing its position as a leader is its enterprise application and integration architecture. Since organizations in our industry grow quickly, both organically as well as through acquisitions and mergers, companies are looking for applications that are that not only can meet the clinical operation needs of today, but also can scale and grow as the organization and its needs grow as well. So this solution has been easily implemented for large organizations, but it can also be deployed in smaller and mid-sized organizations to give the same benefits without the risk of needing, a different system as that organization grows. So this is why it's been adopted not only by top pharma, medical device, and CRO organizations, but in recent years with the advent of accelerators and quick implementations in the cloud, has been widely adopted by small and mid-sized companies as well. The system is rich in features that you would expect from an enterprise CTMS to support global studies. It comes with an integrated central investigator database to manage investigator relationships, real-time subject enrollment tracking, full planning, tracking, and completion of site visits and visit reports, and a very robust investigator payment generation module. Having a centralized enterprise CTMS provides users with relevant and timely information, delivers trial information to CRAs, managers, and executives, and helps facilitate communication across the study team. And you can see some of the key benefits that have been achieved in using the system, which continues to be to keep it as one of the leaders in the industry. So a brief history on the application. Built on Siebel CRM. Siebel CTMS was, when it was built, already had a framework and foundation of robust investigator database functionality to help manage critical relationships with investigators and sites, obtaining requirements from key industry thought leaders, additional clinical modules such as protocol builder, trip reports, investigator payments, contracts, document tracking were then also added to complete out a robust CTMS solution. And while it was a leader in terms of functionality, one of the main critiques of the system was, its browser dependence and on Microsoft Internet Explorer. The web-based system had an innovative high interactivity mode, which allowed many interactive capabilities not available on other web-based systems at the time. But those features also relied on Microsoft ActiveX controls that for that high interactivity. And so ActiveX was de-supported by Microsoft. So in response to that, Oracle really reshaped that platform with the release of OpenUI, which was a platform-wide change for the Siebel product. And the application became both browser agnostic, but retained some of the high interactivity-like features that users were accustomed to. So the move to OpenUI enabled several platform-wide enhancements. The biggest and most widely acclaimed of them was, of course, that browser independence. And the ability to support all browsers was a huge step in the right direction. Along with that, OpenUI had multi-device support across tablets, smartphones, and similar devices. And now that tablets and smartphones outnumber traditional laptops and desktops, this was a much-needed evolution. Oracle even added with OpenUI the ability to render the applications differently depending on which device you're accessing the application. Oracle also focused on enhancing usability features that in previous versions may have been cumbersome, and added features like drag and drop attachments and a simplified Google search across the application. And a major shift started with that release was the approach to development itself. Oracle started to move away from the traditional development, which was solely Siebel tools driven, and started to push some aspects of development into the application administration layer. So this also allowed development to extend to the use of JavaScript and open source controls being able to be incorporated in the Siebel application. And we will see that this shift is even more pronounced in recent versions. But again, this evolution started with that release of OpenUI, which started to show the direction Oracle wanted to go with this platform. And so now we'll look at sort of how the project has evolved since the introduction of OpenUI, and let's look at specifically what's happening with Innovation Pack 2019. So, let's look at some aspects of the statement of direction for the Siebel platform from Oracle. Some key things to note here is that, premier support for Siebel, the Siebel platform itself is through at least 2030 with a rolling 10-year window. So, the platform itself is not going away anytime soon. We have continuous innovation, product and security fixes, 24/7 support for your mission critical management application. Oracle has been providing incremental enhancements for the application through a series of cumulative updates that include functional and product modules as well as feature enhancements. And then, some of the primary innovation themes in recent versions include what we're calling autonomous management system. So the path to autonomous or self-driving Siebel management system is multifaceted, and it relies heavily on making intelligent use of data and new technologies such as process automation. The single Siebel data model, the business services integration architecture provides a rich platform for automating existing business processes. The goal is to enable customers to make use of existing customer data and business process for intelligent automation. And the next thing is the use of technologies like artificial intelligence and machine learning, enabling Siebel data and processes to leverage these new technologies such as AI is a crucial part of this autonomous management vision. Applications such as chatbots and digital assistants that can interact with the data in Siebel to provide new interactive experiences for customers, providing business insights with intuitive dashboards that provide descriptive analytics to the end user, and utilizing application definition metadata to minimize or eliminate the cost of building such dashboards. And then adding support for Oracle Autonomous Database and Advanced Analytics with the Siebel application to make use of machine learning functionality. Another key innovation theme is going to be business agility. The Siebel application is now even easier than ever to maintain and update. The goal is to reduce application downtime by providing capabilities to make changes to the application in real time, and we'll see some specific examples of that in today's presentation. We also have modern developer web tools. The Siebel platform now provides a modern developer experience to configure, manage, and deploy the application, and at the same time enabling parallel, collaborative, and distributed team development, and also built in a simple-to-use test automation suite, which provides automated lights-out testing, saving lots of time and money. And then the OpenUI framework that we talked about, it's going to provide flexibility and design to deploy the application to be very specific to your business and customer needs. The ability to deploy the application across a broad variety of browsers and devices, and an open flexible technology stack is going to save money and reduce total cost of ownership as well. And the last point here, with the Siebel platform, customers can confidently take their investment to the next level and host the application in the most suitable cloud deployment model for your enterprise. So another key theme, again, from the statement of direction is going to be customer experience. Again, we keep talking about OpenUI, that framework is continue to be evolved and to be enhanced, allowing to create tailor user experiences specific to your users and organization. Applications are enhanced for mobile usability to take advantage of responsive OpenUI framework, creating a better user experience for each employee and for mobile and tablet use. And then the Siebel Mobile enables the application, again, across any mobile device and accessible from anywhere. And then the pervasive use, the nature of social media and customers' ongoing interactions across social media channels, illustrate the need for an updated and complete 360-degree view of customers. And so the Siebel platform, these innovations with master data management, represent progressive steps to achieve that golden customer record for customer organization. So here's a nice visual slide on that statement of direction. What it shows is where Oracle has been focused on in each major release. You can see that the focus in the last few years has been on the user experience, the user interface with OpenUI, which has also changed the way that we deploy configurations to the application as well. And then the most recent versions have been focused in the areas of DevOps to ensure development and deployment is able to happen in the most efficient way with the least amount of downtime, and ensuring that the solution is fully cloud ready was also a key focus of these recent releases. And then future direction, you can see that Oracle is going to be focused on microservices, big data and artificial intelligence, decentralization of data, and eventually areas like areas that utilize technologies such as blockchain and distributed AI, and eventually move to a fully autonomous customer experience. So let's now look at some of the major differences between recent versions and versions prior to IP 2017, which is where I would say the majority of our customer base is on today. We've seen a lot of architectural changes. The new application interface replaces the Siebel web service extensions with a self-contained internal web server, which includes application container functionality and is installed with the Siebel Enterprise Installer. There's no longer any usage of a third-party web server platforms like IIS or IBM HTTP server. The application interface configuration is stored within the Siebel Gateway Registry, and configuration is performed utilizing the new Siebel Management Console, and then prior custom web templates have now been moved into the Siebel repository and configured via Siebel tools. We talk about modern web tools, so new starting in IP 2017 is the release of Siebel Web Tools, and this is a 100% browser-based utility that replaces Siebel Tools, the installed version that most of you are used to doing your configuration tasks. So now developers will make an easy transition to the Web Tools interface, which is almost identical to the installed Siebel Tools client. So, from a training standpoint, it's very advantageous. So along with Web Tools, we have Workspaces as part of a new development tool set that provides modern development experience between teams of distributed developers, allowing work on multiple parallel releases, removing the need for local databases and management of seed data. Workspaces also provide the capability to preview workspace changes within the application in real time before publishing it to publishing any changes for users. Also new with, again, starting with IP 2017, is the Siebel Runtime Repository that replaces the compiled SRF files. This allows for zero downtime deployment of configuration changes and rapidly deploying new features to users without scheduling system outages. Upgrades, again, starting from IP 2017 onward, Oracle has started to provide continuous monthly patch releases, which are again, readily available, but also very, very quick to apply, and we're going to speak to that a little bit later as well. And then the automated testing we mentioned, so OpenUI Test Automation Suite, available since 2017. It's an intuitive UI for recording and playback of scripts, and hopefully we can demo some of that today as well. So new features and functionality. So let's look at some specific areas of new features and functionality that are introduced with the latest version of the application and platform. So one of the areas of focus Oracle has invested in is a continuous release model, again, to deliver features quickly to customers. We have a commitment to regular cumulative updates. Oracle is committed to a software as a service SaaS-style delivery. And the new functionality can be optionally installed. These are not mandatory, and since the updates are cumulative, you can actually choose to skip some monthly patches, and then the future one that you pick up, that future release is going to be cumulative. There's also zero downtime. So the latest versions of Siebel support high availability with load balancing and clustering at multiple layers of the Siebel stack, which support virtually no downtime with a cloud-delivered application. So once on IP 2017 and above, we also have incremental repository changes that can be delivered without bringing any of the Siebel services down, which is a pretty significant change from earlier versions. And then the Siebel application can also be installed and deployed as Docker containers. So what that means is that we can install very, very quickly, just from scratch, the entire application. But we can also move entire installations as well, which aligns to the next point that we can now run the Siebel application as Docker containers on-premise or in the cloud. So if your organization is currently installed on-premise and you're contemplating a move to the cloud, it has never been easier to move your on-premise application to a public or private cloud provider. Rapid installation of a complete Siebel enterprise can now be done in 15 minutes. We've done this ourselves internally, and that's not an exaggeration. Obviously there's other pieces to that than just the technical piece, but in addition to the installation, we can also apply Siebel monthly releases to existing deployments in less than 15 minutes. Again, the technical piece of that monthly release is done very, very quickly, whereas other tasks for each upgrade or update may take longer, but overall this can be managed very efficiently as we save so much time for updates and upgrades after we get to IP2017. And so for those of you that have done major upgrades of the system in the past, can attest to the several weeks or months that it takes to install, fix, document, validate, and deploy when you're doing a major upgrade. So now we still have to do other tasks, but reducing the update install to only 15 minutes and the way that these updates are deployed will significantly reduce not only the time but the risk that's going to be associated with upgrades. Continuing down the list of new features, improved REST API usability. Previous versions introduced limited REST-based functionality, and then with the latest version of the application, we now have improved integrations via enhancements to the REST API. And now we can also test REST API using APIs that we build using the automated testing tool. The key thing around the automated testing tool is that if a new feature is added to the application, it's typically added to the testing tool as well to be able to allow for automated testing via the tool. We didn't have that ability to test deployed integration APIs without using third-party tools, and now we have the ability to do it all within the system, again, which is significant. There are several Siebel Enterprise enhancements in the latest version which are purely technical and infrastructure related and may not mean much for everyone on this call, but these are important updates as well. Tomcat as a service, we have a Tomcat upgrade, Siebel Unified Cache enhancements, and then Oracle 12c R2 certification, which wasn't there before. So again, there's a considerable amount of infrastructure and technical pieces to the latest versions as well. Then specifically to CTMS, again, just with this specific last version, we do see some Siebel CTMS specific enhancements in the last version. First, we have a couple of these. First we have a generic CTMS to eTMF trial master file integration. So this is a generic integration that's out of the box that can be leveraged to integrate with any third-party trial master files solution. And then secondly, we have trip report and monitoring enhancements within CTMS as well, including a disconnected mobile. So the ability to have a mobile version, disconnected version of filling out the trip report. So those are some key updates. So excuse me. So the next couple of slides are visuals that again we look at the roadmap, and I don't want to spend too much time on the next two slides as there's a lot of content here, but I think again these are good visuals to show what is planned for the upcoming releases and updates to the system. Again, I won't drain the slide, but you can see that there are multiple point releases planned to the end of 2020, and there's a key list of roadmap highlights of things that are being introduced for each of these releases. This slide, again, I won't speak too much to this slide, but what I like about this slide is that it shows that the new versions that Oracle is delivering deliver not only features and functionality that are beneficial for end users on that top layer, but also for developers, for support staff, for administrators, and IT infrastructure staff as well. So you can see that Oracle is focusing on features and functionality that are going to be beneficial for the entire organization. Okay, so I've been mentioning some of the key benefits to the upgrade. However, let's just summarize some of those benefits. The latest version of the software provides access to new functionality and software applications that can help keep your organization well positioned to meet your business objectives by leveraging the latest technology and built-in business process. So we've talked about the improved business agility. The latest version is really focused on making your organization and your business agile. It facilitates easy migration from on-premise to the cloud platform. So again, because of the infrastructure changes, we can actually move entire installations from one environment to another. So if you're again contemplating moving from on-premise to cloud, getting to this version allows you to do that very, very easily. Customer experience improvements with OpenUI. Across the board, we're seeing a continuous improvement on the customer experience, since we got to the OpenUI platform. We have industry innovations that are being introduced. We have the continuous release model, which Oracle is committing to. Because of workspaces, we have the ability to do parallel development and also development through the front end rather than through a separate application as well. Near to zero downtime in deployments through that deployment model, and moving to an autonomous customer experience. The updated software versions may also provide an out-of-the-box solution to requirements that may otherwise have needed to be built and maintained. So we've looked at this. We've done assessments with clients where over the years, they've introduced customizations or configurations to the application to meet some requirements. And as we move to assessing upgrades, what's being introduced may actually meet those requirements that otherwise they needed to build customization. So you can actually lower the cost, lower the risk by retiring some of those customizations and utilizing out-of-the-box functionality to meet those requirements. So again, that may lower your compliance risk as well as you move away from those customizations to a more out-of-the-box implementation. Upgrading allows you to leverage the latest performance and usability enhancements, so enabling you to increase the efficiency of your application and your business by taking advantage of some of the latest performance and usability enhancements in the system that are being delivered. Upgrade to remain eligible for the highest levels of product support. So we talked to a lot of our clients, that are on different versions, different parts of that journey, right? And we never want to have a client that is too far behind from what's currently available, right? So we want to continue to move them forward to that path of upgrade. So again, once you get to 2017, and we know upgrades come with a cost, but once we get to 2017, we've seen that cost and that risk reduce significantly. So once you get to that threshold, moving forward to from 2017 to 2019 and beyond is going to be significantly easier and a significant reduction in cost and effort as well. So upgrade path. So this is a great table that shows what is involved with the upgrade depending on which version your organization is currently on. So for most customers, for most clients, it will be a two-step upgrade, which means you have to get essentially upgrade to version 17, and then from that, another step to get to 19. But once you get past IP 2017, all future upgrades are going to be the single step upgrade, which is, again, significantly easier to keep your application up to date. And if you'd like to perform a detailed upgrade assessment on your system, depending on where you are, our team has that experience to do so. So you can know exactly what it's going to take to upgrade your system to that latest version. So with that, now we come to our live demo portion of today's webinar. And so I'd like to turn it over to my colleague, Suren, who's going to go through these pieces on live in the demo. Suren?
Thanks, Param. Hello, everyone. This is Suren, and today I would like to show Siebel OpenUI out-of-the-box themes, and I will give a live demo on Siebel Web Tools and Siebel Test Automation Suite as well. So I would like to start with OpenUI. As Param mentioned before, Siebel OpenUI is a modern user interface which is browser independent, and it runs on any device with auto rendering, and it also fully complies with the latest web standards as well. So Oracle introduced OpenUI a few years ago, and it has been consistently adding new features and themes as well. So technically, a theme is a collection of Siebel Web templates, JavaScript, and CSS files to build user interface elements like color, font size, and styling. So with that, I would like to show you the live. With it, I would like to show you the themes that come out of the box with the latest versions. So let me log into the application, and this is the latest Siebel 19.10 version. So this is the Siebel latest 19.10 version. And then as I mentioned before, all of the styling, whatever you see here, like the font size and the way the layout has been arranged and the colors you see here, are all rendering from a theme that has been set from the user preferences or the user settings. So if you can see, currently we're showing the theme of Aurora, and let me show you the ones which are available as of today. So with the out-of-the-box, with the current versions, we have 4 out-of-the-box themes, which is Aurora, Sky Blue, Synergy, and Vanilla. And then each of the themes would have its own navigation control as well. It supports the tab, tree, and side menus as well. So the menus which you're seeing as of now, these are the side menu navigation control with the Aurora theme. So let me change it from, let me quickly show you Aurora with side menu. We'll just go through some of the pages we have. So let me go to Administration Clinical. As you can see, all of this is rendered using side menus here, and then it has different coloring as well. So now, if we switch it from Aurora to the latest Sky Blue theme, it's going to change the whole look and feel of the application entirely different here. Let me log out from the application, and for the changes to take effect, I'm going to log back into the application. So now the look and feel of the application has been totally changed. Earlier we had the tile-based home layout, and then now it has a side menu as the applets, or applets are shown as a side menu, where you can see all of these applets layered. And then you can see the tabs rendered differently, and the color has been changed as well. If you go to an Administration Clinical, so the applets and the navigation controls look differently as well. So the way the tabs are arranged look differently, and then you can see the menus rendered differently as well. So let's quickly switch to another theme. So we can quickly change it change it to Synergy, and then let's see how it looks. So the color has been changed, the background has been changed, and the rendering has been changed as well. And then I would like to show the vanilla theme as well. So once we change it to vanilla, the look and feel, the color has been changed as well. So the look and feel. So this is the greatest advantage with the OpenUI, with the OpenUI theme. So the look and feel of the application can be totally changed. And then with the OpenUI, we have the unlimited capabilities to customize the user interface, and the organizations now can create their own custom themes according to the user experience needs as well as the corporate branding needs as well. So I would like to quickly show you some of the custom themes we have built, apart from the ones that has been provided out of the box. So these are the custom themes we built for some of our customers, and then we have captured some of the screenshots. And I would like to show this is one of the custom themes we built for one of the customers, and look at the UI. So this looks entirely different from what we have seen with the traditional user interface. So this is one of the custom themes we built, and this is how it is rendering the screens, and this is how it's rendering the dashboard in the home page. And then this is another theme we built for Smucker, so it looks entirely differently as well. So the look and feel from one theme to another is entirely different. And then we have built another theme for one of the customers, which is for Four Seasons as well. So this is how it looks. This is one of the custom themes we have. So as I mentioned before, with the OpenUI, we have the unlimited capabilities to build your own custom themes according to the user needs or user experience needs, as well as the corporate branding needs as well. So with that, I would like to move on to the next topic, which is Siebel Web Tools. As Param mentioned before, Siebel Web Tools, with IP 2017, Siebel introduced a new development toolset, which includes the Web Tools as well as the workspaces and runtime repository. As Param mentioned, Web Tools is a totally browser-dependent utility, which looks exactly similar to Siebel Tools. So the transition for the developers from the traditional installed tools to the Web Tools is almost seamless. So we can do a lot of stuff with Siebel Tools itself. Using the Siebel Tools, I would like to make a quick change in the application. So I would like to change the label of the program, the field we see here, to change it from program to clinical program. And I would like to add a validation to the exchange date, So currently it is taking, it is currently accepting the future dates as well. Now I would like to restrict this field to accept only the dates which are less than current dates. So these are the two quick changes I would like to make using Siebel Web Tools. So let me fire it up, and then in the meanwhile, I would like to get the applet name. This is basically clinical program admin list applet. So it's loading the Siebel Web Tools. Once it comes up, then we can quickly make those two changes using the Web Tools. But also, I would like to mention that this is where we see the web spaces. So using this web space workspaces, we can quickly validate the changes we just made. So the entire development work is made much easier using the Web Tools as well as the workspaces. So once we have the workspace, we can quickly make the changes. It's loading up.
This is Murphy's Law with a live demo, right?
Yes. Let me open it again.
If that doesn't work, Suren, maybe we can go to the next one, which is the testing one.
Sure. While it's starting the Web Tools, so let me move on to the Siebel test automation. So as Param mentioned before, now with IP 2017, Siebel has introduced the test automation suite. So with that, we can create the test scripts using the usage pattern framework. What that means is you can capture the user actions, and then you can convert them into Siebel test scripts. and then you can and then you can import the test scripts into the application, and then you can modify those test scripts according to your needs. In the sense, like if you wanted to get a dynamic value to test the test script later, that can be done as well. So I will give a quick demo on the Siebel test automation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create one test case using the test automation suite, and then I'll play that back and then show you the results at the end of it. I'm logging into the application with the test automation enabled. So when the test automation is enabled, so it's going to show this record button, which is a camcorder button. So I would like to start creating a test case using the test automation. So now it is in the recording mode. I would like to quickly go to contacts, and I would like to create a contact. Brand new contact. So I'm just using test and test. And then I just quickly stepped off to save the record. And then now this is what I would like to test. So I stop the recording, and then I just save the script as well. And now I would like to play this and then see whether it captures everything what I'm looking for. So now it is showing the play status as not played. That means that the script hasn't been validated yet. So when you use when you play that, it's going to show all the actions we captured. At the end of it, we can see the scripts it has created as well. It's starting up a new browser. It's starting up a new Chrome browser. It's logging into the application now. It's all doing all by itself. It's all controlled by the automated test software. Now it's logging into the application. It opened the contacts, and then it exactly captured every action we have performed into the test script. I was just providing the last name and the first name that I have keyed in my previous steps. And then it stepped off, and then it saved the record. Now it almost concluding the script. So now it's logging out from the application. Now it's going to show us the results of the execution. So you can see it's going to provide the detailed test case report as well. So it's going to show us how long it took for it to perform a specific action. So the button click, and then as I mentioned before, so once we have the using pattern tracking, once we have the test script, we can import the test script, as well as we can make that useful for the later user. I mean, you can group all of the test cases into test suites, and then you can manage them as well. You can use a Jenkins plugin as well to do the parallel execution of the test scripts. So now I can import this script. I mean, it shows the play status as success, which means that has been completed. Now I can go to the sitemap and then quickly show you the script it has created or we have imported. So I'm logging into the sitemap. So we have a lot of modules available. We have enabled a lot of modules, so that's why it took a bit. I'm going to the scripts that are created, that we just created. So you can go to the test scripts. It's going to show the one. So we just created one of the scripts, which is today, and then you can see all the steps it has captured. And then also you have for each step, you can just change the values as well. Earlier I have given null value here. You can just change it to what would the value you want for executing the test scripts in the higher versions or in the current version. And then you can also mention whether the test script requires screenshots or not. So if it is checked, then it's going to capture the screenshots while it is executing the test scripts. So that's how easy it is to using the Siebel test automation tool, which provides all these features. I mean, you can group all of these test scripts into tests, and then you can just view the test results. You can see all of the. I mean, you can manage the entire test suite using the Siebel test automation tool without using any third-party additional licensing tools. So it makes the whole testing experience seamless with the latest test automation suite. So with that, Param, I would like to give back the control. It seems like the web tools is still firing up.
Okay, thanks, Suren.
Thanks, Param.
Okay, yeah, so I hope that was, I mean, again, we just scratched the surface with some of the features, but I think, specifically the web tools, the themes, and this test automation suite is something, these are things that are quite a departure from what most customers are used to in the application. So we wanted to highlight, those specifically because I think they do provide this sort of wow factor, right, of you can start to visualize how this is going to dynamically change the way that you, deploy and, test these applications that we're used to. So hopefully we can get a recording done of the web tools demo that Suren was going to do and share that with you as well. Okay, so let's talk about compliance impact as we close out today's webinar. While Oracle has made this application more flexible, easier to configure, and develop specific functionality and easier to deploy, with all of these enhancements, we want to consider the compliance risks. So let's look at what has evolved. First, we're moving away from back-end custom development. The SRF, which is compiled full code and configuration, that is going away. We're moving towards an application-level development model where you can make real-time deployment configuration changes via a web-based development environment. And this is going to be similar to, your organization's already used to doing things like this. This is similar to how we currently make, administer user access and list of values and update list of values. So everything is moving towards that type of development mode. This will, of course, make life easier, make it easier and faster to deploy these changes to the application. But with this change, where there's no explicit compile or migration of code or files, it's going to be harder to control those changes and document those changes. So, the system comes with an application migration functionality that can help put in controls for deploying changes. This functionality consists of setup, configure, plan, and then execute steps which manage the process. And the process is audit trails for you to retain history of all those changes implemented to your system. And again, since the deployment is so much more flexible, for compliance, there needs to be stronger process controls to ensure proper approach to deploy these changes and retain the system in a validated state. And so a few of these procedural controls we can put in place could be validating the actual application migration functionality itself. And since the functionality that deploys these changes is part of the application now, we can fully validate it, that functionality, and then that way we don't have to validate the process each time that a change is implemented. We could also create a standardized change impact assessment, which could assess the risk and impact of each new introduced change to existing functionality. And this has to consider existing integrations and how that impacts that. We can define different change types or categories or categorizations and determine who needs to approve each change. For example, if we're making an LOV change versus adding a new field or changing a field validation as Suren was going to do with the date field. We can also implement a consistent change tracking mechanism where you can track the change, its impact, its approval, and then track the deployment of that change. Again, so since more of the application can be configured via this administration of the system, process controls are going to be, what we need to define. These process controls need to be defined clearly to manage changes to ensure that compliance. So now, we've gone through all of this information related to upgrades and functionality available. Many of you on the call may be at different parts of the journey. So what are the next steps from here? If you have not seen a very detailed demo of IP2019 yet, you can request a demo with us at your convenience. We're happy to schedule time to show you a detailed demo of IP2019. If you've already seen a detailed demo and we'd like to do, and you would like to do either an implementation, fresh implementation, or an upgrade assessment, so kind of understanding where you are, what kind of configurations you have in your current system, and what upgrade path you could look like, we can assist with that as well. This can include a move from on-premise to the cloud, including integrations. So this also can include data migration and also include decommissioning of an old or existing system as well. If you have seen it and you're not sure if the application is right for your organization, again, we can assist with a strategic roadmap discussion and assess whether whether this is the right fit for your organization. If you have any questions about the system, the latest versions, you can schedule a call with us and we can provide you with as much information as needed. Lastly, if you don't have CTMS at all, you can request a demo and an overview of the whole system also. You can contact me directly via email, which is here on the slide, and then again, these slides and this recording will be provided to you in the next few days, so you can have all the information you need to contact us directly. So with that brings us to the end of the webinar. Here's a series of related resources, additional resources that you may find useful that are available on our website. And again, we'll share these slides with you. I know we only have a couple of minutes, but if there are any questions, you can type them in the chat window, and we'll try to address the questions. I know we only have a couple minutes left, so we may not get to all the questions, but we can follow up with you on any questions that you have. You can send us questions directly as well. I know that we do have at least there's a couple of quick questions that we can probably answer. So one of the questions that was typed in the chat here was around the themes that were shown. So are the themes that you showed in the drop-down provided by Siebel out of the box? I believe they are. So all four of those themes that we showed are out of the box, but as Suren mentioned, some of the additional ones that we showed the live versions of, or the screenshots, those are obviously not out of the box. Those are very, very tailored to each organization. So the beauty of the latest versions are not only that do we have these out of the box themes where we can kind of shift the look and feel and the way that it's rendered and the menu, with those out-of-the-box themes, but we can create custom themes that align to your corporate standards. So if we want to put, your logos, your icons, your colors, exactly how it meets your corporate standards, we can actually align that with your corporate standards. So, the application, you saw some of the examples, it looks nothing like, traditional sort of Siebel application. It looks very much like that organization's, websites and their internal applications. So huge advantage, I think, with OpenUI when it comes to those themes. So I know we're at top of the hour. So I'll again, if you have any additional questions that were listed here, we'll follow up with you directly. But if you have any questions, you can send us an email, and we'll schedule a call. But I want to thank everybody for joining us today for this webinar, and look forward to future webinars and speaking with you again.